Hello, everybody, and welcome back to
Goblin Mode!
Goblin Mode! Goblin Mode!
It's been a hiatus, but we're back.
It's been a fucking minute, dude.
Yeah. It's been like a month.
It's been 3 weeks to a month. We have been taking a little hiatus from, travel. We went to California, as y'all saw. If you're a real fan.
If you're a true blue fan of the Goblin Gang, of the Goblin Mode podcast and vlog.
Yeah, you would know that we went to California, and then I slowly put out 3 episodes. I did like the original, I did the podcast, and then I did the vlog in 2 parts.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed that. If you watched
I enjoyed it.
If you watched it, let us know in the comments. But I hope you all have been well. Nars and I also have had some like health issues. We mentioned it in the California vlog as well, how we both were feeling weird, like on our trip. Like I had a groin strain, that I thought was maybe appendicitis. It was just like weird, like down groin area problems. And then Nars thought he had a hernia, which they said that they thought he had a hernia, and then they ordered him, an ultrasound. He went and got the ultrasound. They were like, you don't have a hernia, at least like in this area where we scanned. And then over time, we had to go back to the doc, which thank fucking God we have health insurance, or else we would be in like thousands of dollars of debt.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars. Like,
And that fucked up.
holy shit. I'm bless.
Bless up.
But I ended up getting like this crazy UTI like it was like a week and a half ago, I guess. And I was literally like, it came out of nowhere because I've had probably like 3 or 4 UTIs in my life, which I know I'm lucky. Most vagina havers have them like pretty regularly. But every time I've had one, it's always like very severe. And my one that I got this time, I didn't even feel it coming on. I literally woke up and I had pain, like really intense pain, and then I was peeing blood clots, and I was like, what the fuck?
You woke up and you were like, I think I'm getting a UTI, like I'm gonna like drink a ton of water and like take care of myself. And I hadn't even gotten home from work and you're like, it's really bad.
Yeah, like I was considering going to the ER because I was like
it just happened like that.
Yeah, because
really
normally
fast.
whenever like, vagina havers out there, like, normally it like, you can kind of feel it, like your pee will start to feel a little strange, or you'll have like a little cramp down there. But like, no, this came on like super fast, crazy as fuck. I was like peeing blood clots that were like, it felt like I was passing kidney stones, because like it was like a large chunk that's like going through your urethra. So it's kind of essentially like the same vibe as a kidney stone, but it's just not as hard. But yeah, I was in so much pain. Luckily, I took my very last antibiotic today. So anyways, we ended up realizing that it was kind of severe, and then luckily I got into the doctor the next day when he was going to talk about his pain to his doctor. Well, we share the same doctor, but they were like, we can get you in, like, so you can come along with Nars, like, but you're gonna have to see a different doctor. And I was like, I will take anything I can get, because I don't want to go to the ER, because the ER, whether you have insurance or not, you still have to wait like fucking 8 hours to be seen. So, anyways, went in, they tested my pee, and they were like, holy shit, like, this is a severe UTI, severe. And they gave me like a very strong antibiotic, which has been like absolutely obliterating me. Like, I have been feeling horrible and like nauseous, like weird poop cramps, like all the above. But I'm on the mend, I think, so I'm feeling very grateful to come out on the other side, because sometimes you just are like, wow, I took it for granted being able to pee normal. Now I'm very grateful. And then Nars has a CAT scan lined up for, well, he hasn't actually scheduled it yet. They have it like called in, but he has to see what's going on. Not to scare anybody, but he's just having some like weird pains and stuff, and it could be a hernia that they just missed in a different area. We'll keep you guys updated. It's just been a very wild time health-wise in our household, and we've been stressed, and the holidays and stuff. Like, we needed a break from the podcast, but we're back.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. But we are back, and thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
I am excited to be back because I love doing the podcast. I think
do
it's
too.
so much fun.
We always have a good time. It's always fun. It's always funny. I laugh a lot on these. It's fun.
You're like over there yawning. You're like, yeah, it's fine. I laugh a lot.
I yawned once.
I'm kidding.
And we're talking about hernias and UTIs.
I know that's what the people want to hear. They want to hear relatable content. They're like, yeah.
I have a UTI too.
Me 3.
I have a hernia too.
Me 3. But yeah, so thank you for being patient while we've been dealing with all this crazy shit. And it's still ongoing, but we feel, capable of filming a new episode now. But yeah, so we've just been chilling. I mean, happy New Year. We literally haven't been able to say.
And happy holidays.
We haven't been able to say Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah.
But I hope everyone has the best year. I for one, health stuff aside, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling excited for 2023. I hope you guys are too. How are you feeling for 2023? Like minus health stuff, I mean.
Personally, I feel good for 2023. Globally, I think the world is just slowly descending.
That's true, but
But in terms of like what I can control and what I can do, I have a very positive outlook. I'm very hopeful that this year will be my year.
Yeah. I mean, we like going along with the world being in a weird place, like we've been kind of I have been trying to I don't want to say like I don't want to I'm not becoming like a prepper, but I definitely want to like learn how to do things that I like should be more aware of, I guess. And then like, having things to protect myself in the case of like post-apocalyptic activity.
Fallout.
Yeah. And the other day I told Nars, I was like, how crazy is it? Like we need to have like a storage bin of like food and water because we like, since we live in a tiny house, we don't really have a whole lot of like food storage. Like we have canned goods and like, some things I think we would be fine for like maybe a week, but I want to be okay for like a month.
We need to learn how to grow food.
Well, that's why I was going to get to that about the sprouts and the well, just the sprouts.
Well, just the sprouts and the sprouts. Well, the sprouts.
Well, I was telling him that we needed to get like a big like lock box that can go like under our home because we like have a tiny house on wheels. So I was like, we may not have storage inside, but we have storage underneath. And if it's like a lockable box and like critters can't get in and it's like waterproof to an extent. I mean, if it's like canned goods, I don't think it matters if they get wet. Like you just want to see the labels.
Yeah.
But like and I said, and then I'm not like anti-gun or anything, like, but like I've never really wanted one for the house. And I was like, you know what? We should probably like have a gun like to have in the house in case like people try to like rob us in a post-apocalyptic like situation. And because I have maybe fallen onto a strange side of TikTok with like people like being survivalists and stuff and being like, the U.S. is heading for a recession, like there's going to be a food shortage and you need to stock up and blah, blah, which I know that that's kind of like fear mongering. I'm not trying to like see that and be like, oh God, like I need to fucking, I'm very like level headed about shit like that. But it also just puts it on my radar to the point where I'm like, oh, I am not as well prepared for this like as I thought. So anyways, I was like, we need to get a lockbox and fill it up with food. And like, we already have like gas masks and stuff because we lived through the crazy fucking wildfires that we had to evacuate from. And I was like, man, I would have been really nice to have like a gas mask or something during that because a normal mask was like not cutting it. Like it was
a gas mask. It's a respirator. It's not
literally has a whole face shield and it blocks out gas. So it's a gas mask.
It filters out
gas and poison. As well as like ash and fire. So like what? So what is it not a gas mask?
Does it filter out gas though?
It literally said, I'll have to look it up on my order, but like I went through one of these phases last year and I got But I mainly got it because I was like, damn, when we were escaping the fires, it was so dense outside and so much ash that I was like, I felt like I needed like a full face thing because the ash and everything was like getting in my eyes and I was like crying. Like it was like making me cry a lot. Like think of like allergies, but like times 50. So that was mainly the reason I got it. But then I was also like, what if there's like chemical warfare? Like it would be really sick to like have one of these on deck. And like, I think they were maybe like $40 a piece and I had the money at the time. So I bought them. Anyways, I was like,
get yourself a gas mask.
Yeah, buy a fucking gas mask.
Mask up.
But I was just thinking about like protecting ourselves in like a post-apocalyptic world if that were to ever happen. I don't think it will, but if it does, you know, whatever, hypothetically, I was like, we don't have a gun. We have other things that I won't, you know, say, but I would like to maybe have a gun. And then I said, man, I want like a little pistol with like a silencer on it. And Nars was like, Nars was like, you like legally can't buy a silencer. No. And I was like, but I want one. Like because I said the reason that I want one is because if someone were to like break into my home, I want to be able to just be like, like, and not have it be like such a loud blast that it like hurts my ears. Cause like I'm already going to be going through the trauma of someone breaking into my house.
It's still loud.
That like, I don't want the trauma of like the blast because as someone who is like very like, I don't know.
The trauma of the blast.
The trauma of the blast. Well, I'm very sensitive to sound. I think it's because I just have really good hearing. Like, I always hear things that you don't hear. And he's like, I literally have no idea what you're hearing right now. And I'm just, like, very sensitive to smell as well. I'm like fucking Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. I literally have, like, heightened senses.
You are.
Probably because my brain is like really slow, so like it's like making up for like, you know, when you lose a sense, you pick up other senses.
What sense did you lose?
My brain cells.
Your common sense.
That was a good one. I ain't gonna lie.
Got him.
I ain't gonna lie. But that fuck it. So, anyways, I have a heightened sense of smell and hearing. And so I was like, I know if I have to use a motherfucking gun in my house for whatever fucking godforsaken reason, I'm going to blast the gun and I'm going to be like, I'm going to drop it and be like, ah! And
like a baby?
The killer's going to be like, oh, she dropped the fucking gun. Get her. He's going to be like, tackle it. Because he's going to like survive the gunshot.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel me on this? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Are y'all all gonna fucking gaslight me and tell me I'm wrong?
Nobody's gaslighting you.
Man, well, Nars was like, no, you need to get a fucking sawed-off shotgun.
Yes, that is what you need.
And I was like, I would rather
you don't even need a sawed-off shotgun. You just need a shotgun.
Where the fuck am I gonna keep a fucking shotgun in 300 square feet? You gonna hang it up on the wall in a rack?
You're making it sound like it's a cannon.
I thought they were like big.
Girl.
Can you get like a fucking little blicky? Like a little blicky shotgun?
Mozambique?
Can I get a Mozam?
You can get a 410.
Bro, I would fucking love a Moz. If I could buy a Moz for the house.
Get yourself a little 410.
All right, bet. So anybody who's planning to rob me or break into my house to hurt me, I will have a gun by the time this airs. So don't even fucking try me or you will get the fucking blicky. You will get fucking blasted.
Just get a 20 gauge shotgun. You'll be good.
I don't even know. So the last time we filmed, it was blurry, and I can't tell if it's blurry or not. It looks like it's not, but
no, it
also looked like it wasn't last time.
It looks good. No. I think we look crisp.
All right, slay. We also got these stands, which I know is like so over the top, but like holding the mic and like moving it all over the place. A, it creates extra noise, and B, the audio is like there's inconsistencies because you're moving it away and closer to your face. So I was like, these were on sale for Black Friday a while back. I just got them.
Yeah.
We just hadn't used them. Here they are. But what else was I going to say? Do you have anything you'd like to add to that conversation before we move on?
To the post-apocalyptic fallout?
The pussy-apocalyptic. Ooh. Pussy pop lips.
Pussy pop
your lips. Yeah.
No, I mean, we should probably learn how to, other than sprouts.
Oh yeah, the sprouts, the fucking sprouts. So I learned on TikTok that
I didn't even get to add anything.
I'm so sorry. You got.
That's okay.
Why don't you tell them about the sprouts?
No, the floor is yours.
Why don't you tell them about the sprouts?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I learned on TikTok from this like guy who groans. This guy who grows his own food. He was like, broccoli sprouts in particular are super easy to grow and they're like super nutrient dense. And part of me was like, okay, slay. Like, I want to be able to grow my own thing that's like easy in any climate, which is sprouts. You just need like a jar and a window. But also it kind of like ties into the like post-apocalyptic things. I got this like giant bag of seeds that last forever. So I was like, well, at least if there was a food shortage, at least I would have these fucking sprouts that are like nutrient dense, so I'm not only eating like canned goods, you know? So it was the wheels were turning. I was like, this is a good fucking idea. But anyways, I grew my sprouts. I should have brought them over here to show you guys, but it's kind of dark in here anyways. They are very easy to grow. I've already grown a batch of them, but the issue is I'm scared to eat them.
I'll eat them.
I'm scared to eat them because the last time I had sprouts, because I used to eat sprouts a lot, and then I had a bad sprouts experience that gave me diarrhea for 2 days. And so now I'm like, man, of course, the sprouts that I grow myself are going to be the ones that betray me. I can just feel it.
I will eat them first.
All right, I'll make him be the guinea pig because he needs to shit his brains out anyways. But... Okay, now you can weigh in on the gun, the pussy-apocalyptic.
That ship has sailed.
Oh.
The post-apocalyptic ship.
Can you tell he's like so into this today?
Has left the harbor.
Damn, the pussy pop, the SS pussy popper.
Right, the pussy popper. My God.
It's okay, King.
Good?
Get your shit right. You're good. Are we still picking up on the thing?
Yeah, we're still good.
All right. So next on the thing, I always accumulate a list of topics, and I'm going to always have to reference my phone because I have no brain cells to remember. But I was going to say, I saw in the store the other day when we were grocery shopping, you know how on like food items, it'll say like new in the corner? Because I really love this new Beyond Beef jerky. It's my favorite. I fucking love it. The teriyaki one specifically, but the original's good too.
You don't like the hot and spicy?
The hot and spicy is good. It just tastes a little too like
hot and spicy.
Spicy. But so I was thinking to myself, because I started eating that like how many months ago? Like 5. Yeah, like 4 or 5 months ago. And the bag still says new in the corner. And I was like, how long do these companies let new stay on the bag before
how long have they been
it's
sitting
like
on
not
the shelves?
New? Right. That's another thing to think about.
Yeah.
But I was like, is there like a set amount of time that they can
like
leave new on the packaging?
Maybe 6 months is like the threshold, and then they're like, okay, it's not new anymore. Like we can't keep this on half a year. I mean,
yeah, that would make sense, but it's something to look into because it made me like aware of like every food that's like new item, and I'm like, like I wonder if they print a specific amount of packaging that says that, and then they just have to run through it, and it just like they eventually run out of it, or if they have to like pull it from the shelves after a certain amount of time, like you said, 6 months or whatever. Yeah. I would maybe get your mic a little closer to your mouth.
Why?
Your mouth. I don't know. I just don't want it to be too quiet. Yeah, tighten that shit up, King. But anyways, I know that was like a random thing. But it just is something that we have like in our consumer daily life that we don't really think about. Yeah. It's like weird, something that like a food marketer would know about. Yeah. And like studied in school, you know. But yeah. Also, I was going to say, speaking of consumerism, you're probably not going to fall into this trap ever, but on TikTok, I'm really bad about falling into the trap of buying things that people tell you are like their favorite something. Like, And I always skip the videos that are like sponsored because I'm like, you're lying because you're getting paid for this. Even if you sort of like it, there's a motive here.
Right.
And so I always skip those. But the ones of like plain Jane people like me, a regular Joe Schmo, if they're like, oh my God, I'm about to tell you my holy grail product, and I wanted to gatekeep it for so long, but I need to tell the public, I'm like, ooh, my ears perk up. Because I'm like, if this is your number one favorite fucking thing that you use in your daily life, I probably need it. But
they're like, my number one favorite product. I've used this for years. I can't gatekeep this anymore. It's Lubriderm. I use Lubriderm all the time. I'm like,
no, that's literally like a thing. Like I saw someone the other day say that about Vaseline. They were like, I use Vaseline on everything. And I was like,
do you know the inventor of Vaseline would like eat? He would eat it.
He would eat like a tablespoon a day.
Every day.
That is absolutely sinister. And
it's sinister. It's like, what? Like, that makes no sense to me.
Well, it's fucked up because if you think about it, we joked about this because we have a container of it that I use on my lips. I use Aquaphor mainly, but I said it was funny to me if there's dudes who like jack off with Vaseline because Vaseline is like oil based or petroleum based, so it like does not come off easily. So I was like, can you imagine like all the little kids who like learned to wank off when they were in fucking middle school or whatever age, and they like found their mom's like Vaseline and used it? I'm like, you probably had a greasy wiener for like ever.
A greasy ween.
Like a greasy ween. And I was like, God bless the USA. Sigh, I fucking hate the USA.
This land is your land.
This peen is your peen.
This grease is your grease. Grease is my grease.
But I was like, damn, like, wait, where was I going with that?
I don't know. You were talking about greasy peens.
We were talking
about, okay, the Holy Grail products. That's the original.
Yeah. But like,
we were talking about.
I was just like thinking about that because there's so many people on TikTok that like promote like salves and balms and stuff, and it just made me think about that. And I told Nars, I was like, don't be using this to wank off. And he goes, I already know that. Like that's like greasy as fuck. And I was like, I bet a lot of people don't know that, and they're just like, ooh, that seems like
don't
really...
be using that. Pro tip, don't be using that Vaseline to wank off, okay?
I don't even know what I would like. I mean, just keep
pole.
keep lube around if you're gonna wank. I mean, I feel like a lot of people use lotion.
Yeah,
but even then I feel like certain lotions you shouldn't put on your genitals. They're like scented and stuff. It's like sensitive.
Yeah, like fragrance.
Yeah, like if you're doing that, you should only be using like a
neutral.
Yeah, like Lubriderm. You should be using
That's
Lubriderm.
my holy grail product. I cannot gatekeep it any longer. Lubriderm.
But my whole point is that I'm very impressionable with buying people's favorite thing. I have on my wish list, I've stopped buying things like right away, like whenever I see it, and I'll like add it to my wish list, and then that way later on if I've decided against it I can take it off. And I think that's in 2023 I'm trying to save more money and be more cognizant of my spending.
Yeah. That's fair.
But something that's really fucking funny and like random as shit is I follow Leo Riley, John C. Riley's son, who is like extremely attractive. He's a model.
He's a beautiful man.
And he had said on his video the other day that he wears Skechers shape ups, and he was like styling like this like Y2K outfit and was wearing shape ups, and I was like, oh my God, those are fucking sick. Like they look cool. And he was like, they're the most comfortable shoes. And so I was like, God damn it. And then I looked, shape ups are discontinued because people were tripping a lot in them because they're like meant to make you like overcorrect your balance so you like have a stronger core or something. You'll have to look into it. But anyways, I looked on eBay and I found the women's version of his shoes, and they were like $35. And I was like, for a fucking pair of shoes that's mildly used and discontinued, and like people always shit on Skechers.
I think the discontinued factor probably drove the value up.
People were like on the hunt.
Yeah.
Anyways, I ended up getting them, but I put in an offer for $20 and they like countered me at like 22. including shipping. So I was like, that's a slay. But I'm just saying that's how impressionable I am. Like, I was like, I want these shoes so I can look like Leo Riley.
Yeah.
But
you are Leo Riley.
God, I wish.
You are.
I am.
You're my Leo Riley.
Aw. I think. Aw.
Yeah, aw.
That's so nice.
Slay.
But something that I saw last night was this girl talking about this table salt that's like it's like a Tony Chachere's shaker, but like it's like a salt that's blended with herbs. And she was like,
Never mind. That's pretty good.
Right. Don't knock it before you try it.
I thought it was going to be like some fucking like
Himalayan
fair
pink
trade salt. What?
Himalayan pussy pink salt.
Right? I'm like, dude.
Well, so she was like, I know that it looks like bizarre, but she was like, I used it in France and like it was super amazing and everyone over there uses it. And I was like, ooh. And then I checked and it was on Amazon, but it's like $20 for like a shaker of it. But she was like, she only had like 50 views. Like it was like not very popular. So I trusted her. It wasn't sponsored. And she was like, I love this. I use it every day. My husband is obsessed with it. So added it to my wish list. But
Nice.
I'm excited to try it one day if I still want to buy it.
Yeah, the restaurant that I worked at, we made a finishing salt, which sounds a lot like the same thing. It's like flake salt
it's like
with like herbs.
with a blend in it.
And we charged so much money for that if you wanted to buy it. It was insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like any artisanal salt. There's like a local grocery store here that like sells like blended salts, like that are like sweet or savory, and they're always like ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Which like I guess it's like artisan, so
Yeah.
you can like charge more for it, but sometimes it's like a little too much.
Right.
Okay, so which like speaking of other countries and like we just talked about like France having this salt.
Yes.
I have been seeing something that's like I already know that it exists. But like other countries having like less preservatives in their food than America, and like I just think it's like really disheartening to see that. Again, I know this is not new knowledge, but like a lot of people talk about how like the ingredients that Americans put in their food, the corporations put in Americans' food, is like labeled as carcinogens in other countries.
Yeah.
Like so many things.
Yeah.
It's fucked. And like I was telling him last night, I saw this guy who he had like severe IBS and like stomach issues he's had forever. And he went on like a European trip for 2 weeks, and he said in the first few days of eating like European food that he did not have problems anymore, like with his guts and his poops, and he was like shook to his core. And he was like, I think that we're just like being poisoned. And I was like, okay, yeah, everyone knows that like we're being poisoned like by, you know, big dairy and like all the different companies. But I just think that it's really interesting though, because I'm like, what was he eating different overseas? Because I'm like, that's where I become like, I don't want to say skeptical, but it's like where I want to like see both sides.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, what were you eating regularly in America? Were you eating like fucking Hot Pockets and shit? And then you went over there and then you were eating like a fucking like cheese board and like
A Cornish pasty.
Yeah, were you eating like fucking cornflakes? Like, and their cereal is just better for you.
Could
you know,
be like everything in terms of like, you know, like you look at milk, and milk is like ultra pasteurized. Like you could take milk here and just like leave it. You could serve it room temperature.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm very anti like drinking milk.
Which
I only
I'm
drink
not
oat
saying
milk.
that Europe isn't like European food isn't that way, but maybe that's different in terms of like, I mean, obviously pasteurization is good because
like there's reasons for it.
yeah, it won't go bad, you know, because like if you drink spoiled milk, like that's way worse than drinking milk that isn't spoiled. You know what I mean?
Well, and like they always talk about how like overseas like people leave their eggs out on the counter and like their butter out on the counter, and it's like I know that people that homestead do that on their own, like on their own, but like, you know, if you go and buy eggs from the grocery store or milk from the grocery store or butter from the grocery store, it's like frowned upon in America to leave it out on the counter.
I would just imagine that European food, and I'm ignorant to this, I don't know, but my guess would be that there's less preservatives in their food, so it's not as shelf stable. And
sure.
There's less high fructose corn syrup in their food, so they probably use more reasonable, like, sweetening.
Yeah, they probably just use regular sugar.
Yeah. And then the third is they probably have far less dyes in their food.
Yeah, and like chemicals.
Yeah.
Which that's another thing that I learned recently that I shared with you, I think, was that like Ronald Reagan was like the reason for the like corn syrup, the high fructose corn syrup epidemic in our diets, because his friend like owned the biggest company that was like patenting like doing high fructose corn syrup and everything, and he like lobbied for it and like
fuck Ronald Reagan.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like that like specifically was like a huge turning point like in American diets. Like it's just bizarre as fuck to me. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Like I know that like it's so corrupt, like the American like food system, like no matter what kind of food, like agriculture, everything, like not all agriculture, but a lot of it is just so corrupt.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like grocery stores putting like organic labels on things that aren't organic because there's no regulation. Same with labeling.
Yeah.
People can say anything's fucking organic. There's like no guidelines and regulations for that shit. So we're just being lied to.
My manager, who's older than me, was telling me that like back when she was very young, she was like, you know, produce was like seasonal. She was like...
Yeah, like it's supposed to be.
She was like, you couldn't get lemons in the wintertime.
Yeah.
You couldn't get oranges in the wintertime.
Which like, makes sense because, like, I think that the reason they're able to do it is because of, like, GMOs. Yeah.
Which GMOs aren't... I'm not going to say that all GMOs are bad, but I will say that, like, everything now is genetically modified.
Yeah.
If you can grow something in every season, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
For sure. Like, I'm not against it at all, and I think...
But it is... Like, that is true.
But it's bizarre, dude. And that's the thing is, like, we can sit here and say, like, oh, we're not anti, like, GMO. But it's, like, at the end of the day, there's probably a lot wrong with GMOs that, like, people have just become, like, used to. Or, like, I don't know. Very, very strange stuff. And that's, like, a whole rabbit hole. And I think a lot of you guys probably agree with us on, like, knowing that, like, every aspect of all of these things is just like hella corrupt, and it'll drive you crazy if you think about it too long. But I guess all we can do is try to eat as like best as we can, and like, but also don't stress about it, because I feel like if you're trying to take better care of yourself and eat better, if you're stressing so hard about like everything that like goes into your food, like every single thing that goes in your food, you're like, it's like counterintuitive, because you're probably not going to be eating what you want to eat, and you're probably going to be stressed. Your cortisol levels will spike.
You're not going to enjoy it as much.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why for me, like, yes, I love to eat like vegetables and rice and like, you know, local bought beans, local bought fish and stuff. Like, I still enjoy like a Totino's pizza here and there because it's like reminiscent of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Moderation
is key with everything. But yeah, my next topic of conversation is, do you think whenever a celebrity goes on a guest talk show, are they being paid, or do you think that it's just like they're getting paid down the road because them going on the show is free publicity for whatever their current project is?
I think that it is 100% promotion. I don't know if they are being paid, but I do think that everything that they talk about is completely manufactured. Like, I don't think that it's like you and I talking right now. Like,
no, it's like scripted.
Yes, I think that everything is scripted.
I think so too, but like I was watching I
think there's very little like genuine conversation.
Yeah,
Like,
for
maybe the
sure.
reactions are genuine, but I do feel like what they're going to say is, like, planned out beforehand. But I don't know about them getting paid. I don't think that is...
Well, and that was my main thing, was, like, I know that it's always promotion for, like, a new project or a movie or a show, like, typically always. Like, there's a reason why they are the guest that week.
It's like,
or that night.
Who was it? I think Justin Timberlake was like, he was like, I did get paid to go on to SNL. And he was like, the most that I got paid was $5,000. And he's like, but the publicity that I received was far greater than any, like, monetary compensation that they could have given me.
Well, I think
but
that's kind of the
completely different,
trade-off.
though. That's like a sketch show.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
is
like a talk
different,
show.
but it is promotion, though, because they always have the guest and then they have the guest singer or musician.
The musical act,
And so it's like both of those people are benefiting from, like, promotion for their new album or for their new, just for their career. Yeah. So I guess that's a good example. But, like, I saw, like, I don't even remember who it was. It's like Millie Bobby Brown or something on Fallon's show. And I was like, I wonder if she's getting paid. And that was what, like, made me, like, note it down. Like, I wonder, because, like, you know, most celebrities get paid to do, like, anything that they do. Like, they get paid to be on red carpets. They get paid to go and do interviews, like, little interviews with, like, podcasts or stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's like, maybe it's kind of dependent on, like, what it is.
I'm not sure if they get paid or not. But it's publicity. So that alone, I feel like, is worth. And I don't think, obviously, like, they're not paying to, like, go there. You know what I mean? Maybe they are, dude. I don't know. I don't know how...
Okay, maybe in that case, though, maybe they are like, if you come be on the show, like, we'll pay for your flights and your travel and your food and your hotel. Like, because then it would be like a free trip for them if they have enough time to, like, venture around the city or whatever. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. But yeah. Other than that, I had 2 more topics and then we can kind of just shoot the shit.
Sure.
But one is, and this was a question I had on our list to talk about with Pape, and I forgot to ask it, but the question is, have you ever been in a wreck, like, with, like, yourself or with a parent, or a friend, and, like, was it bad, or, like, what happened?
I've been in...
I know this is, like, completely different topic.
I've been in 2 car accidents, and they were both with a parent. And one of them was our fault, and the other was... I've been in 3 car accidents, but one of them was, like, not bad.
A fender bender?
Yeah. One of them we got rear-ended, and that one wasn't bad at all. I felt bad for the guy who rear-ended us because he hit us, and then he hit us again.
What?
Yeah, he, like, hit us, and then, like...
He backed up, he put in reverse, and he said...
No, he hit us, and then we flew forward a little bit, and then he thought that he was hitting the brake to stop his car, but he hit the gas, and he hit us again. Oh, my God. He was a really old guy. He was really old. I felt really bad.
Oh, shit, hit the brakes.
Yeah. Oh, are you okay?
I would have got out of the car and been like, you stupid motherfucker.
And then another time we were driving down like a residential street, and it was raining, and we hit a parked car. Like, it was like parked cars like on the side of the street, and like we came around a curve, and I guess my mom, the driver, lost control of the vehicle, like, whenever she was making the turn, or, like, the car slid a little bit, and she like, clipped the back of a car.
Did y'all just have to, like, go knock on their door and tell them?
Yeah, I think, like, she got out and, like, knocked on the door, and they
I mean,
came
I would rather
numbers
that than,
and
like,
whatnot.
get in a real wreck.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather that, because then no one really gets hurt.
Yeah.
Like...
And then the last wreck, or the big wreck that we got into was like, it was like on the interstate, and it was like a...
is that the one where you got glass in your body, or...
That wasn't me. That was my older
your brother.
I wasn't I don't even think I was born yet.
Oh, that's true. Okay, wait, what was this wreck? Sorry.
It's okay. We were driving down, I think it was the interstate. It was the interstate or like a really, really busy like city street.
Mm-hmm.
And we got rear-ended, and then we hit the car in front of us, and then they hit the car in front of them. Like the person
that's like
slammed into the back of us.
That is one of my biggest fears, is like a domino effect.
Yeah, like a pile up.
Yeah, like every time, like that's why I always, if I see someone behind me like coming up really fast, and like I see that traffic is about to stop, like I'll slow down like a little early. That way, like if they were to hit me, I wouldn't hit the person in front of me.
But I was never like, I've never been in an accident where like airbags deployed. Like it was never like a fucking crazy ass like
I guess I
collision.
haven't either.
It's usually like we got rear-ended, or it was like a minor like bunk. We like ran into somebody, so it was nothing ever intense. But yeah, I've been in a few.
My stories are fucking dumb, but so I've been in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 like 2 not bad, 2 not really bad, but more of a wreck. One was with my friend in high school. I was like in the back seat, and she was like turning, like we were with a bunch of our friends in the car, and she was like turning, and like there was cars coming this way, and she was turning to like go this way, like to make a U-turn, which it was legal. It was like a U-turn area, but like the car, she like pulled out really slow for some reason, and I was like, go, 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 and then this person just like hit the back of the car, and it like spun, and I was in the back seat, so I was like screaming my head off. And, like, we had weed, and so I was like, oh, my God, like, the cops are about to come, and we have this fucking weed, like, but I ended up, like, throwing it in the ditch. I was, like, literally got out of the car and, like, threw it to the side, and then, like, pretended like nothing happened, and it was fine. It was just, like...
I had to throw up. I was just really, like, dizzy from the car.
I mean, knowing me, that would be true, but, and then... That was just silly. And then my first and only, like, actual wreck, in my own car... was not my fault. It was like these 2 roads that come down. It was like going into downtown. It was like a road was going into downtown, and then there was like 2 interstate roads that came down and met, and it was like a 4-lane thing. To where they all all converged.
I know what you're talking about.
And this old fucking lady, like I was coming off the left ramp, she was coming off the right, and she was driving. It was like an old motherfucking lady, and her old ass husband in the passenger seat with his oxygen tank, which dangerous. I don't even know if you're supposed to do that. Surely you are, because you would have to use it to like transport yourself. But anyways, she like exited and then literally went like this and just like kept going and like ran into me. And I was like, ah! And I like literally like was trying to like get away without like running off the fucking road.
I would have traded paint.
And she literally,
like, you want some of this?
She like, yeah, I know, right? Well, she like hit me, ripped the bumper off the front of my car, and like kind of crushed in the front of my car a little bit. It wasn't total or anything. It was still drivable. And but like I got out of the car and I was like looking at everything, and she just like stayed in her car and like had her hands on the driver's wheel, fucking steering wheel, and she was just looking straight ahead. And I was coming up to her window and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, and I was like, "What? Fuck you!" And then I literally like went back to my car and like, you know. Luckily, like, a cop was nearby because it was, like, downtown. There's, like, always cops down there. So they, like, came by and, like, did a report and shit. And then I was, like, doing my insurance stuff. But I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you ignoring me? Like, this is your fault. Like, unless you're embarrassed, as you should be, for pulling that fucking James Bond stunt, you little crazy bitch. But then the other 2 are really fucking funny. These were, like, someone bumped into the back of me. But one, I was in the fucking Starbucks line. The fucking Starbucks drive-through line. And this lady behind me, quite obviously, like, her foot slipped off the fucking brake and she bumped into me. And I just, like, felt my car, like, goonk. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I, like, opened my door and was like... And she, like, gets out of her car and pretends to be choking. Because she was, like, embarrassed. She was like, I'm choking. I was like, bitch, if you were choking, you couldn't talk right now, first of all.
That is, like, the first.
That's, like, the telltale. And I was like, and she was like, ugh. She, like, swallowed and, like, pretended. I was like, okay, like, where's this bitch's Oscar? Because, like, this is an act.
And the award for best choking victim goes to the lady who rear-ended me in Starbucks.
And I was like, are you good? She was like, yeah, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was choking and Yeah,
I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's still your fault that you ran into
right.
me.
I was like, well, let me check
You're
my
still
car.
at fault.
And then I like looked at the bumper and nothing was there. And I was like, I'm good if you're good. And she was like, okay. And like gets back in her car. And I was just like, you annoying fucking bitch. Like, you just like learn to drive. How about that? Anyways, so the last one is like even more bizarre. And I was coming over a bridge in our hometown, and like you come off the bridge and then it's like half a mile and then you get to a light and you stop. And like, so I had gone over the bridge, was slow coming to a stop at the light. It was like a few cars deep. And this guy behind me is like pulling up in a truck, like a little baby truck. And he like just bonks the back of my car when there was like no reason for that. He must have been not paying attention. And I get out of my fucking car. I'm like, God damn it. And then I like get out and I look at him and I'm like, and he gets out of his car and just stands there and like stares at me. And I'm like, okay, there's no damage. Like, what the fuck? And he was like, and I said, okay. Like, he just stared at me. And I was like, I just said, what the fuck are you doing? And he just kept staring at me. And so I got back in my car and I drove off.
What the fuck?
I like,
did he follow you?
No, hell no. He was like old. I'm like, are you like, do you not have hearing anymore? Like, did you leave your hearing aids at home and you can't hear me? Like, maybe just like, I was like, if he had tried to sign to me or something, I would have been like, oh, like, yeah, like, we're good. But he just like stared at me like.
Standing guy emoji'd you?
Yes. I was like, and I don't care, like, if you're like mute or deaf, like, obviously, like, let me, like, know, like, sign something to me. But I was like, he just stared at me like a fucking psychopath. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking scram.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna go.
But it was just bizarre. But luckily, I haven't had any more wrecks, knock on wood. But that was just like very, very wild. What are we at time wise?
We are at 47 minutes, almost 48.
Oh, slay. Well, my last topic is how I've been seeing so much alien activity in the world, and like all these different crazy things. Like, people have been saying all this wild shit about like, and I'm not gonna feed into it because it's very like conspiracy-ish, but like people think that like around this time there's like all this like activity that's happening with the earth, and like there's gonna be like a reset. Like, I saw a woman last night online talking about how if you feel fatigued right now, it's because your DNA is transforming. And I was like, are you on fucking ketamine? Like, what's going on? Like, are you...
If you feel tired at any point in time, it is because your DNA is transforming. And then whenever you wake up, it reforms.
Chetty is just tip-tapping around. Sorry.
He's just vibing.
But yeah, but that being said, I have seen a shit ton of like UFO footage from all over the world, and it's always the same UFO. And so I'm like, huh, this is kind of sus.
Yeah.
And then I showed you like these weird things in the sky where people are seeing like a shape going over the sun, or like, and it's always like very believable footage. Like, and it's always like some fucking random like redneck that's like filming it in his backyard. And so I'm like, I don't think that this was like doctored, you know? Like, there's things where you can like tell that it's been doctored.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that I've been seeing, I like do not think that it's been.
That audio recording that you sent me of the air traffic controller talking to two different airline pilots about the 6 lights, like,
oh yeah,
going in a circle.
It was 2 guys, and
but that could have been fake.
Right. And that's what I have so much issue with on the internet, is like not knowing if things have been like...
That could literally have been 4 actors.
Yeah.
Like, just voice acting.
Right. And so, but like that was supposedly like 2 like pilots like for the military, like talking to...
No, they're commercial airline pilots.
Oh, they were? I thought they were military.
One of them was Marine Corps pilot. And
in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, I've never seen this before. But they were they both accounted the same thing, that there was like...
Within like an hour
there
of
was
each
like
other.
5 to 7 like lights like above them, like moving.
In like a circle. Yeah, like, and they said it was like 5,000 to 10,000 feet above them.
Yeah, and then like the one that I've been seeing the most of is like this like orb that's like just flying through the sky. Like, it just looks like a silver...
Yeah, it's like a gray
ball.
Like a gray ball.
And like I've seen that's what I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, is like the reason I believe it is because you know, on TikTok, like, it's the most used app in the entire world. So you'll see like people using it in like China, like the Middle East, fucking South America, like Ohio, like and like all these different videos are showing the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, this is sus. Like things are lining up. I saw a person in I think it was like Argentina, and it was like helicopters like following behind one of those silver orb things.
It's the Epcot ball.
It doesn't have any facets on it. It's
no
just
spikes.
It's just
smooth.
The Epcot one isn't spikes. I thought it was fucking like.
It's like.
I thought it was like geometrical, like.
Yeah, spikes, like little triangular, like.
I didn't think they came outward though. We're gonna have to fucking look up a picture of that.
I'm gonna Google that real quick.
But. Yeah, I just think that it's like hella bizarre that like all these things are like showing up and lining up, and there's just been like a lot of like alien footage that has been coming out rapidly that matches up in the past like couple weeks, I guess, that I've seen. Like and I know that like your content that you ingest, you know, it's the algorithm starts to learn you and it shows you what you want to see. So maybe it's just that, maybe I'm just seeing a lot of that, but even if I am seeing more than I usually do, it's still there and it still like seems real, and I'm just like, huh. But I don't know. I just feel I feel strongly that aliens do exist, and that like they like come to Earth and like do stuff on Earth, and that's why they're always being spotted.
Yeah.
Like in their ships,
they're
obviously.
Watching us. They're waiting for the total societal collapse of the human race, and then they're going to pounce, invade while we are weak, and either enslave us or harvest our bodies for food/energy.
I know you don't believe that. I don't think you believe that. You've never once told me that. Also, your mic keeps falling down and down.
It's just a theory. I don't know.
Tighten your shit.
Tighten
your shit. But I definitely think that they are like here and like among us, like in the sky, like whether they're using like cloaking mechanisms or whatever. Like I think that they're here, and like it's really bizarre to me that like no one really talks about it in a serious way. Like, so, I'm sure someone watching this is going to be like, people are talking about it serious. You're just not watching the right thing.
I think it's hard to talk about it seriously because it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
Like, it's legitimately, like, hard to fathom.
Well,
because there is no life in our solar system except for...
How would we know? What do you mean? Like...
At least in terms of humanoid life.
Well, humanoid, sure. But, like, I feel like we do not have the capability to see things enough. Like, yes, we have like a rover on Mars,
we can
and
see
like
the surface of Mars.
We can, but what if there's a fucking like secret hatch on the fucking backside that we've never seen because we don't have cameras on it? Well, it's like very plausible.
The James Webb just took that photo of a moon, one of Jupiter's
moons. Yeah. Is it the one that we can see from like our sky sometimes because it's like so huge?
I don't know. I mean, I think we can see Jupiter. We can see Jupiter from the night sky, like with the naked eye. But I don't know if we can see its moon.
Well, I think I just saw someone talking about it because, like, I had sent you a video of like a guy at a truck stop, and he was like, "Well, there's the moon." He was like, "So what the fuck is this?" And it was like looked like another planet in the sky, and I was like. Someone in the comments was like, "Oh, I think that's Jupiter's moon that they discovered," and like people were like talking about what they thought it was, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like it was huge too. It was the same size as the moon, which is another thing. I was like, "This doesn't seem like a video that could be doctored," and you know,
I don't think that's right. Right? The moon is so close. It's the closest.
It is close, but I sent you the video.
It's our moon. I mean,
I don't know, unless some kind of fucked up things happening in the sky, and like it like is reflecting the moon's reflection across on the other side. Like that's the thing, is it's like something that's unexplainable that like makes you just scratch your head for fucking days, being like, well, I don't have a fucking degree in science to be able to explain how this is happening, and I'm not a fucking physicist or a fucking like, you know, someone who works with like, what is someone who works with space?
An astrologer.
An astrologer. Like, I don't know enough to like
You're not
make
an astrophysicist.
Yeah, I'm not someone who can make like a good judgment or like a hypothesis on what is going on, because I'm just a fucking lowly peasant here on prison planet Earth.
Same, honestly.
Honestly. But I definitely love like oh, Chad's trying to you want to go on my lap? Come on up. Okay. You want watch
Tell
out.
the people hello.
So yeah, this is our son Ched, if you haven't met him yet. He looks really big on camera, but he's pretty small. You sniffing?
Does it smell good?
But
Love you, buddy.
yeah, I definitely really believe that aliens are like here and chilling. Most people know and have seen like everything like with Bob Lazar and like knowing that the government has been like covering up.
Bob Lazar is full of shit.
Okay, Chip is gonna see this and be like, he's not full of shit.
I think he's full of shit, dude. I'm sorry.
I think that the government is like covering up that they know about aliens and that they've already like discovered ships and stuff.
Do you think that like government officials like
No.
What do you even know what I'm gonna ask?
No, I was saying like no, not like no. Like, do they know?
Yeah, like do they know? Are they aware? Like, do you think that they have made like first contact and the government has like records of us like making contact with these outer, extraterrestrial entities?
Well, according to truthers, they think that like our government has like a contract with like the Intergalactic Alliance or some shit, and that like aliens, we like are in like cahoots with an alien race.
Okay.
And that like they're like here and queer and ready to rock.
Okay.
And that like they are in our atmosphere at all times, like waiting, like they like come and go. According the person that I talked to about this claims that they're like always here, like among us and in the atmosphere, like using cloaking devices on their ships and whatnot. But like they're only allowed to like
observe.
They're only allowed to observe because like the contract or something says that like they're not allowed to like intervene unless another like race is trying to like hurt us. And I was like, what the flying fuck? Like, that doesn't make a lick of sense. But like, we talked about this not too long ago. How like none of it really makes sense to the point of like we don't really know what to believe.
Yeah.
Because if anything came out, we'd be like, oh, okay, like that's fucking psychotically crazy, but like whatever, there's proof now.
Yeah.
Like, we're like a seeing is believing kind of people. And like, yes, I can sit here and think that shit is like, oh, that would only happen in like a fucking Marvel movie. But like, I'm like, lots of things in this life are stranger than fiction.
You remember that movie Arrival?
Yeah, that's very like...
That's how I think First Contact would go. Like, I don't think the aliens would like be secretive about it. I think their presence would be known right away.
And then they would want to speak to us.
And then they would want to make contact.
But that's the thing is like they act like people who claim this has already happened and that we're like, they're like the government has already talked with this other race.
Our government cannot even properly agree on a budget. I don't think that they could cover it up.
Our government I'm like, our government throws us into a fucking recession every goddamn 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like someone would fucking squeal. But sorry, we keep having to edit because Chet is fucking hype and clacking around too much. Anyways, I think that I definitely, in a general sense, I believe aliens are real. I believe we've already made contact with them. I don't know what the fucking stupid ass government is hiding.
You believe that we have made contact with these aliens? That we have met them in the flesh?
There's multiple people in documentaries that say that they've had sex with aliens, which I'm like, that you saw that. It's the fucking like old dude who was like, yeah, when I was a teenage boy, I had sex with an alien in the woods, and they used me all the time to procreate with them to make more alien hybrid babies with humans. And he like swears to God that this happened, and he painted a picture of what that night was like the first time.
I do not remember this.
Y'all fucking know what I'm talking about. It was in, I don't remember what I think it's in a specific documentary, but we watched it on stream one time because we pulled it up on YouTube, and I don't remember what the guy's name was, but they also interviewed another person who said the same thing, exact same thing happened to them, and they both had the same exact like detailed account. And I was just like...
They both painted a picture?
Like, visually, like, no, like, not physically. Only the first guy did.
Oh, okay.
But, like, it seemed like crazy fucking bullshit that I didn't believe. But, like, it's the same that I feel about, like, ghosts and demons. I'm like, there's been too many accounts of these things and people seeing it and dealing with it that, like, not all of them are fake. Even if 99% of them are fake, that 1%, like, is telling the truth. And so, I don't know. I just think that there's, like, so much crazy shit that happens like on Earth, and like, you know, and space is so vast that like I believe a lot of the shit that I hear, and I'm not like, oh yeah, that's true, but I'm like, in my head I'm like, if that was proven, like, I would believe it. Like, I feel like that's not that far-fetched.
I got a hand job from an alien, and he made me jizz into a bowl, and then he made alien hybrid babies.
Said, black, black. Blah, blah. And then he left, and now they're fucking making human alien hybrids.
That's right, and they're infiltrating the government.
I don't know. There's people who think that like our government leaders are fucking like lizard people,
reptoids.
Which I'm like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
I don't know about all that. But at the same time, like I feel like there's so many like crazy looking species on Earth that like could be considered like aliens. And, like, they have their own ecosystems and stuff. So I think it's just, like, how you frame it. But I think we all are, like, thinking in, like a cinema sense and, like, a textbook alien sense and, like, a little flying saucer. But, like, yeah, it's mainly for me just these, like, weird orbs that are, like, flying through the sky that, like, are obviously, like, I don't know. There's been so many videos of those.
Not human in design.
Well, yeah, but I'm also, like, how the fuck is this flying through the sky? Like, what technology are they using to, like, hover this ball through the air?
According to Bob Lazar, it is gravity manipulation, right?
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, interesting, but, like, what is, like, how does that work? I want to know. Like, I know you don't know, but, like, that's my thing. I'm like, show me how it works. Like, show me how this is legit. Like, I want to know why it's legitimate, or like, also we have never, like, everyone always is like, aliens are like these little gray guys and they have big giant heads with like big black eyes. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like aliens, if they know how to fucking fly a goddamn orb through the sky, like they probably know how to like look like humans, or like
J's on my feet. J's on my feet. J's on my feet.
So get like me.
They're wearing J's, dude.
What does that even mean?
They're using camouflage.
You are so dumb. Fuck you.
They're using camouflage.
I genuinely feel like they probably know how to like act like humans, and like they probably are like actually like among us.
Like they're shapeshifters.
Maybe. Yeah. Which that seems extremely far-fetched, but like look at a fucking octopus.
Look at a chameleon.
Like watching a fucking like pink octopus lay on a rock and then even change the texture of its skin to look like. I'm like, okay, so if you can do that and you're just a dumb little octopus, well, octopuses, octopi are actually not dumb at all. But I'm saying like if you're just like a silly little sea creature, like think of what like a higher elevated like alien race could do.
Right.
I'm sorry I'm boring you to death.
No, you're not boring me. You got it all wrong. Just because someone yawns does not mean that they're bored.
No, I know. I yawn on stream all the time, but I'm always doing ASMR though.
You are fake.
You heard it here first. I don't know. This could be like a whole podcast on its own, just talking about like extraterrestrial life and like how I feel about like multiple dimensions. Like I do believe that there are multiple dimensions, and like that when we die we just like go to a different one. Like I don't know, that's why like I think we've talked about this before, but that's why I'm not really like scared of death. I'm only scared of being away from you. Like,
Same.
like I quit. Like, you're not in court. You don't have to lean left like that.
That is correct.
Like, literally, I just don't want to, like, die before you and then, like, go to the afterlife without you. And I don't want you to die without me, and then I have to be on this shithole planet by myself.
We die together.
Suicide pact.
You got it, girly.
But
If I die, you die. Just like
that.
that.
Our family's watching this, and they're just like,
Millions.
God fucking damn it. They're like, ooh, I'm calling a help hotline for you guys. But yeah, I guess we'll cap it there. But we will kind of pick back up on this
Yes.
on the next episode, which will hopefully be next week, and we won't have a hiatus again.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best to keep it weekly,
Yeah.
like we were before.
Yeah.
We've just been going through some shit, and we will be hopefully back to normal very soon.
Yeah. It'll be good.
But yeah, I appreciate everybody. Again, if you would like to help support the podcast, there is a link in the bio for our Ko-fi.
Click it.
And that just helps us to do experiences and pay back the equipment that we bought. No pressure ever. But our birthdays are coming up. I'm very excited about that.
That's right.
His birthday is February 15th. Mine's February 22nd.
That's right.
A week apart. Very strange.
I know.
But which he's an Aquarius and I'm a Pisces, for anybody who is into that. Very interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, so maybe we'll do a birthday podcast.
A birthday bash.
A birthday bosh.
Pod bosh.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Comment below if you want to discuss anything or if you want us to talk about anything on our next podcast.
Yes.
Love you guys. I hope you have the best week ever.
You are all amazing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank
Yeah,
you
like
for
and
liking.
subscribe.
Thank you for listening and watching.
Slay.
Until next time, until next week.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Have a great one. Bye.